Okay. Sister Gopi, I think we can start now. Are we okay?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome, everybody. Happy Thursday to each and every one of you. We have a very special guest today, all the way from Mount Abu, India, which I call a holy land. So today is really special. We're getting double blessings out there from a holy land and from Sister Gopi, our very angelic divine sister, senior sister. And of course, grateful to Soni Kirpalani, Soni, for giving us her time today. Really
Om Shanti. Om
very,
Shanti.
very humbled, very humble.
Oh my God.
So before I start the program, I'd like to do a little bit of meditation with Soni Kirpalani giving us her song, and then I'm going to introduce Sister Gopi. Soni Kirpalani is, everybody knows her in this group. She's our professional singer, lives in New Jersey, has a wonderful son, married, and she's a teacher, a leading teacher, a songwriter, a singer, and she's internationally known everywhere. And I'm so humbled to have her today. Thank you, Soni, for giving us this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, dear Janika. And it's so nice to do darshan of everybody, Sister Gopi and all you lovely angels. Thank you so much. Before I start the bhajan, I would like to say something.
Sure.
First of all, Om Shanti, brothers and sisters. Life is beautiful, but not always easy. It has problems too. And the challenge lies in facing them with courage, letting the beauty of life act like a balm, which makes the pain bearable during trying times by providing hope. Happiness, sorrow, victory, defeat, day, night are the two sides of the coin. Similarly, life is full of moments of joy, pleasure, success, and comfort, punctuated by misery, defeat, failures, and problems. There is no human being on earth, strong, powerful, wise, or rich, who has not experienced struggle, suffering, or failure. Life has not been a bed of roses for any of us. To sum up, life is beautiful just as roses, but it has challenges which are like thorns and have to be faced and overcome by all. Those who accept these challenges are the ones who know how to live life in its true sense. Thus, enjoy life, but also be prepared to bear the pricks of pain. I feel if there is at least one person you've helped in life, then your life has been worthwhile. Encouragement to others is something everyone can give. Give whatever you can. It may be your money, it may be your time, it may be your listening ear, it may be your arms to encourage, it may be your smile to uplift. Who knows? A simple smile. That's the start of opening your heart and being compassionate to others. It's a blessing. Before I start a bhajan, seeking blessings from Lord Shiva, I just want to say, dear God, thank you for all your blessings to me and my family, for the strength you give me each day, and for all the people around me who make life more meaningful. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Soni. Wonderful words.
Thank you.
Such wonderful. Thank you for sharing your words of wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you. Before I start my bhajan, I need blessings from everybody. This is Shiv Kailashon ke Vasi, Dhauli Dharon ke Raja. Dhauli is a river. It's called Dhauli Ganga River. So that's what it means. Shiv Kailashon ke Vasi, Dhauli Dharon ke Raja. Shankar Sankat Harna. Shankar Sankat Harna. Shiv Kailashon ke Vasi, Dhauli Dharon ke Raja. Shankar Sankat शंकर संकट हरना तेरे कैलाशों को अंत न पाया तेरे कैलाशों का अंत न पाया अंत में अंत तेरी माया हो भोले अंत में अंत तेरी माया शंकर संकट हरना शंकर संकट हरना शिव कैलाशों के वासी भोले धारों के राजा शंकर संकट हरना शंकर संकट हरना दीनन के प्रभु शंकर प्यारे दीनन के प्रभु शंकर प्यारे भक्तन के मन में विराजे तू भोले भक्तन के मन में विराजे शंकर संकट हरना शंकर संकट हरना शिव कैलाशों के वासी भोले धारों के राजा शंकर संकट हरना शंकर संकट हरना शंकर संकट हरना ओम शांति
Shanti, Om Shanti. Thank you, Soni. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. Your voice so soothing. Takes
Oh,
us straight to the heart of God, really. You're an
God is great. I don't do anything. It all comes from up there. Thank you. Thank you.
honored, humbled, and grateful. Thank you. So
Thank
with no further ado, I don't want to waste time. All the way from India, we have Sister Gopi blessing us with the topic of spring away into soul conscious. Sister Gopi Patel is an international leader and spiritual educator, a practitioner of Raja Yoga meditation with the Brahma Kumaris. Since childhood, she travels extensively, emphasizing spiritual values and growth as an essential ingredient in sustainable social, economic development and organizational effectiveness. In this capacity, she has spoken and run seminars on government platforms, ministries, businesses, social organizations, and NGOs worldwide. She has over 25 years of experience coordinating projects promoting the inner principles of leadership for young leaders, women leaders, senior executives, and thought leaders from diverse fields. Welcome, welcome, Sister Gopi. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Thank you, Sister Gopi.
Om Shanti, Janika. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure to be invited to New York at this very auspicious hour in the morning of India. I was saying earlier that morning time here from 4 a.m. in the morning is the auspicious hour of the time of nectar. And it's the time when most people on a spiritual journey awaken and spend time to contemplate in silence with God. Because it's the time in the world when nobody's intellect is awake. And so God's blessings are more available to us than ever before at this time. So it feels very special to be joining you from India, from Bharat, in New York at this very special time.
Sister Gopi, 1 second. I forgot to give you flowers from each and every soul today. From the
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you,
flowers from
Janika.
everyone to you, from all of us.
Thank
Sister
you.
Gopi.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Janika. Thank you. So I found the topic very interesting today. Spring into soul consciousness. And also those a couple of very interesting quotes. Those who look outside dream, and those who look inside awaken. And I guess this whole chapter of time that unfolds in front of us, it's amazing how nature illustrates birth, illustrates sustenance, illustrates creativity, illustrates death also in a very natural way. And it's often seen as a whole cyclical process. You don't get plants and flowers and trees mourning each other when they die. There's this kind of eternal cycle of energy that continues because the seed of a tree always survives in its fruit or its flowers. And so whilst the flower or the external aspect of the flower may wilt, the seed remains and continues to plant itself somewhere and begin the blooming process again. And so I am fascinated, especially because we are at a time where, I suppose in the Western world, the whole aspect of spring has a deep connection with birth and creation. And I couldn't help but think about the aspect of birth as in our physical births. And how is it that we're born? Are we invoked? Are our souls invoked? Do we choose where we're born? And I had this feeling very deeply inside that when this little soul is in the body of a baby, in the womb of its mother, it has no knowledge about what it is. It has no knowledge about who its mother is and where its mothers come from. But there's a very deep, subtle thread and bond of love that connects that child to its mother. And even when the child is born physically into the world, it's perhaps at its most vulnerable. And yet, during that time, again, in the first year or so, it can barely say mum and dad. Can't say mum and dad. It takes time to even utter those words, let alone understand what their names are and what they do for professions and what they do. And yet this little baby can command the attention of a whole family, right? How many meetings have I been in? And then you bring a baby in and everybody goes gaga and the whole meeting goes to pot. And so I find it incredible how the purity of such an innocent package that appears vulnerable can actually make it a master. It's not just a little child, it's a little master too. And there's something about this very natural phenomena in physical birth that we can understand and kind of take across into our spiritual understanding of what it means to give, to rebirth and reawaken in ourselves. Beyond all the many masks and roles that we have created for ourselves. There come moments in time when the heart experiences a level of disinterest, or the heart is starting to open up to a new feeling. It's so important to cultivate and nurture these moments, because these are moments of birthing. Just like the advent of spring brings in new blossom, new colors, new life. In the same way as we move with the hand of time, there are moments in our life where new feelings are birthed, new thoughts are birthed, new ideas are birthed. And anything new that begins always begins underground. It never begins above the surface. You plant a seed and you plant a seed underground. The baby is born in the womb of its mother. It's not visible. It's not visible immediately, but it's felt. And I think that one of the first steps of reawakening again is to actually spend time in silence, is to notice what is growing inside me, what is changing inside me. And as we spend that time in silence, incubating new thoughts, fresh feelings, it doesn't matter if there's no strategy for life. Look, a baby, when it's born, it is as its most vulnerable, but it's not afraid of life. When you think about the energy of a baby, it's not born with a doubt. It's not born with mistrust. It's actually born in love and with a feeling of full trust that wherever it goes, it'll be accepted. And so that is an experience of the core of our soul consciousness, our pure self, that we've actually experienced in this birth as babies and children. And so if we've had that experience, then why can't we switch that on and live it in a more consistent way, in a more conscious way? And so for me, a big part of, if you like, staying awake has to do with giving myself moments and time alone in silence with God. Because the rebirth process doesn't happen on its own. You know, when we think about the energies around us and the partnership that exists, the framework of life we live in, we're not solo islands operating alone. We're actually extremely deeply interconnected as human beings. And in that process, I would say there are 3 patterns of energy at work. One is the soul and the DNA of your purpose and your part. So imagine a big jigsaw puzzle of a beautiful new world, and you're a little jigsaw piece that's part of that. And so there's something in the way you see, the way you think, the way you feel, what you do, that is contributing to something much bigger. It's part of a greater purpose. Have I realized it? Or am I still scrounging it down at base level, trying to stay comfortable with life, trying to get as much as I can in life? And so recognizing and understand that I'm a piece of a puzzle that's much bigger than me, and actually my life is meant to serve a higher purpose. That's so important. So the energy of the self and my own purpose. And then there's the energy of the divine, that's known as the creator, the ocean of love, the ocean of knowledge, which is a powerhouse and has the ability to recharge the battery of the soul, soothe old wounds, heal the heart, refresh the mind. And this energy has the role of renewal. This source of energy, this divine being, whatever name you wish to give it is up to you. But the connection with this divine being helps the whole process of renewal and rebirth, especially. And then there's the energy of the collective karma in which we live in, which I call the drama, right? It's the context, it's the scene, it's the kind of balancing effect of nature and events that's happening around us all the time. Because just as you look at a micro level in nature, nature knows how to balance itself. It takes you from spring to summer to autumn to winter. You don't stay in winter all the time, but it'll bring you back to spring again. Nature knows how to renew itself. So we're supported by 2 forces outside ourselves that are very, very powerfully renewal process. One force, the force of the divine, is there to inject the soul with purity, love, light, peace, power. It's there to give you birth again through pure love. And the other force is to help matter renew itself. And so what is it that I have to do in this process to allow a very natural birthing to take place? Silence is required. I need to create a cocoon in my life, a place, an area where I can spend time with the purity of my being and the purity of God's being. It's such a beautiful thing to be able to come home to yourself and the sweetness of yourself inside. If I was to give you an example, think about a lake. Think about the quality of water in that lake. When you look at the actual nature of water, if you leave it alone, it will just stay still. But if you're sitting on the edge of the lake and you throw stones into the lake, it will create ripples. But the ripples won't stay. Eventually, it'll go back to its original state. And so deep inside the being of this human costume is a reservoir of peace. The original state of I, the being, and the soul is deep, deep peace. It's a restful state. It's a state of deep stillness. It's also a state of deep richness. It's not just an empty silence. It's just like a lake will harbor riches underneath the surface. In the same way, when we reset our minds and the soul back to peace, we are then able to see the richness that we have inside. I think right now at this moment in time, because we don't have the ability to turn within and see ourselves inside, we look externally for validation. We look out for validation. We try and find validation through what we do, through who we're connected with, through the position we have in society. And all of that serves to give us a very polarized view of ourselves, because not everybody will like us. Not everybody will love us. There'll be parts of ourselves that people react to. And there'll be people say, you're like this, and you're like that. And so when you wake up every morning in the mirror, how are you looking at yourself? Are you looking at yourself through the eyes of the world, through the eyes of the work you do, through the eyes of the job you hold? Or are you looking at yourself through the eyes of God? Into that deep, pure, innocent, lovely child of God that you belong to. It will completely change the sense of self you wake up with in the morning. You know, science is now telling us that the first 10 minutes of the day are perhaps the most important part of the day. Whatever you think and feel in the first 10 minutes of the day sets the tone and the mood for the whole day. So the first early morning hours are the hours of birthing, giving birth to something. So if I want my life to continue as a fountain and a waterfall of freshness, then can I pay attention to the early morning hours of my life? That, you know, I can start the morning with a deep, heartfelt good morning to myself, to God, to the world, rather than a good morning to my mobile phone, right? A good morning to Twitter feeds or a good morning to Facebook. It's just because the moment I plug myself into that social dimension, as soon as I wake up, I lose myself. We hand over our power again and again and again because of this habit. And so it's so important, you know, one of the things I've learned over maybe over 40 years of meditating is that one of the aspects is so important in life is to set yourself first. Before you start anything in your life, is to actually set yourself in your power first. When you're in your seat of power, then you can engage with others powerfully without handing over your power. But when we act from a place of expectation, of attachment, or we're driven by our greed, or we're compelled by our desires, we're not acting from a place of our personal power. And when I talk about our personal power, I'm talking about my personal property, my qualities, my love, my peace, my wisdom, the knowledge I have inside, the fluidity of my depth of my being inside. That's my power. I'm actually an eternal being living in the human frame of this body. And whilst the human experience may be polarized, some days things may be good, another day something may be bad. Some days I'll experience victory, other days I may experience sorrow. Sometimes I'll be experiencing defeat or failure. It doesn't matter. That's part of the fluctuation of the human paradigm. Matter always goes through changes, cycles. But when I'm secure in my power, I'm secure in the experience of my own eternity, which is indestructible, which is completely imperishable. Eternity has the feeling of eternity, has deep stability merged in it. And that's so important, that when I give myself space and silence, and I just for a few moments leave behind the costume of the body, and I step inwards into a space where I start to become aware of the subtle energy that's giving life to this body. And I become aware of its seat of operation here, that this energy informs my brain function. It gives sight to what I see. It enables me to hear things. It enables me to think. It enables me to feel and experience life through this body. It's such a powerful energy, the soul. And yet it's so subtle, invisible to the human eye. And so when we're giving, we are reawakening to ourselves. We have to do that every day. Switch on the light inside every morning. And the moment you wake up in that awareness of being the soul, that very sweet, sweet baby inside, you will experience the womb of God. Because when you enter the dimension of soul consciousness, you open the door to God consciousness. It's a very deep, because the supreme God, divine, isn't a human entity. It's a spiritual entity. And so the moment I tune myself into a spiritual frequency, I will automatically and naturally experience God's love, blessings, and power in my life. And God will not be a far distant entity. It'll be experienced as if I have a companion in my life. I have a presence that's with me, that's guiding my mind, guiding my heart, feeding me with nourishing thoughts and feelings. It's like having that mother that carries the baby with it wherever it goes, because this relationship is eternal. Whether you accept it or believe it or not is a separate thing. I mean, you know, what are beliefs? Beliefs are transient experiences. Your beliefs can change the moment you experience something through the 5 senses, right? One day you might be sitting at home in your neighborhood and you can leave your front door open and you believe it's a safe neighborhood because you've experienced it to be safe. And then tomorrow something happens, a burglary happens, and then you experience it to be unsafe. And so you believe, well, it's an unsafe neighborhood. And so our belief systems are crafted from our physical experiences, and they are a very limited standpoint for creation. Going beyond belief is stepping into the faith that I am a soul. I am a child of God. That's the first place rebirthing begins. And, you know, most of the times when we experience fear or a sense of limitation inside ourselves, it's usually because we're holding on to a limited belief system. It's really simple. You don't negotiate with a belief system, you just shed it. The more you step into the being part of yourselves, the more the transient limitations of your beliefs become obvious. And what starts to happen is you start to lose the rigidity of a belief system. Right, yes, okay, I experienced that, but I can move on from that experience. I don't have to stay there and fight my cause or hold on to something. And that's the beauty about what soul consciousness does, is it allows you to stay in your power of your own eternity, your beauty, in such a way that you can accept the transient nature of the physical realm. You can flow with life, so to speak. So I want to just stop here for a moment and I want to take you into an experience. So wherever you are, I'm going to ask you to just sit up straight. It's so important when we meditate to have an erect spine. Both feet on the floor. And I'd like you to just take in a couple of deep breaths through your nose, hold it, and breathe out slowly through your mouth. And as you do so, allow every cell in your body to settle and relax. And bring yourself into the present moment now. Forget about the future. Forget about the past. You exist right now. This moment now is life itself. And now, I'd like you to turn your awareness inwards and just start to feel the energy, the life-giving energy of the soul inside this body. Let yourself be aware of the presence of the soul that enables me to take breath. The soul that enables me to look out through these eyes. The soul that is listening through these ears. And now visualize all this energy, this life-giving energy in your body, rising up from your feet, up through your legs, up through your stomach, your chest, rising up from your arms, all different colors of energies, and they're concentrating behind your eyes into a star of white light. No matter what colors there may be, and they come together, it becomes white. So let all your energy concentrate behind these eyes, which is known as the seat of the soul. And you start to experience a natural state of peace and detachment, even from your body and from everything outside. And now slowly in your mind, repeat this 3 times. I am a star of peace. I am a star of peace. I am a star of peace. Let yourself dive into that experience of peace. And for a few moments, just release all the temporary identities, the masks and the roles and the things to do, the costume of the body. And let yourself rest and come home to your original state of peace. And in this silence of your being, you taste the eternity of your state. I am an eternal soul. I've walked through time wearing many different costumes. And at some point, I forgot myself. Now, it's time to reawaken. Om Shanti. Thank you. You will have started to taste the sweetness of what coming home to yourself feels like. Imagine if we were to take a dip into this pool of our inner reservoir of peace throughout the day, how refreshed we would become mentally, physically, and emotionally. It's so important to touch base with yourself, especially as we're rebuilding this relationship. Now, another aspect of awakening to yourself I want to take up is that as we wake up to this very pure energy of what we are inside, we still find ourselves living in the construct of an old paradigm, an old dimension, an old world. And again, I'll come back to the analogy of the baby. Look at this. Sometimes babies are born in very harsh environments. And yet there's a tenacity and a resilience that allows that little spirit to survive. And so in the same way, protection is required during those early times of growth, because it's a seedling that you're nurturing. It needs watering, it needs tending, it's growing below the surface. But when the little sapling actually breaks through the surface level of the soil, that's the time when the sapling is the most vulnerable to being eaten. And so in the same way, to keep our energies pure and clean, it requires a level of discipline. And I would say a reflection on my lifestyle to eliminate waste. Because one of the things that I've noticed over many, many years that inhibits spiritual growth and inhibits the ability to carry through with my pure thoughts and pure intentions is the wastage of time, energy, money, thoughts. Because anything I waste has a cost to it. For example, if I waste my thoughts, the cost of wasting my thoughts on something unnecessary means that when I want to focus my mind, I won't be able to. It won't be under my control. I will have a dissipated mind, a dispersed mind that becomes very easily distracted here and there. If I waste wealth, it means when I need it, it won't be available for me. If I waste the energy of the body, I use it for something unnecessary, I just waste my time, it acts as a burden on the self, which starts to bring a feeling of dis-ease inside. And that's the beginning of disease. So wastage has an incredible cost. And it's so important to look at our lifestyles and to think, what is the environment I need to create to allow the soul and the purity and the peace and the richness in the soul to emerge and flourish? And that's where I feel it's so important to look at simple things like, how do I wake up in the morning? What am I eating? You know, when we talk about the power of food, in India, we have the saying, as jaisa an vaisa man, as is your food, so is your mind. There's such a deep connection between your mind and the state of your senses. And especially when you eat food hasn't been prepared well, or perhaps prepared in the wrong vibrations, the effect that can have on your mind. Imagine going to a restaurant. You don't know how the food's been prepared behind two doors. Somebody's gotten really angry in that kitchen. And so you're not just eating the food, you're eating the anger with the food. And the next morning you'll wake up and you'll think, why do I have a bad stomach? I paid so much for that meal. Why do I have a bad stomach? Why do I feel like I have a bad head? Because it's the effect of vibration. Everything is vibration. And so everything carries a memory of how it's touched, how it's handled, how it's dealt with. And I'm absorbing that memory. So it's so important to begin the process of cleaning up my life, even at a physical level. I spent many, many years with Daddy Janki, who at 104 passed away last March. And we just celebrated her first ascension anniversary on the 27th of March this year. And she was not just a mentor for me, but a very personal, a deeply personal friend, a friend of the heart. And one of the things that I appreciated the most about her was her emphasis on three things: cleanliness, honesty, and simplicity. These are the principles on which we have to build our life on. So an honest heart keeps the heart clean. And honesty is something that draws love from God, because God is truth. And so even if I may not be perfect, but whatever I am, however I am, I belong to God. And if I can remain transparent and honest in that relationship, then the cleanliness of my heart will enable me to draw the purest love and the purest power from the divine. And then there's cleanliness. The subject of cleanliness, not just at a conscience and a heart level, at a physical level. Daddy would always say to us, if you want to do tapasya, an intense spiritual endeavor, you need to be in a clean environment. So it's not cluttered, it's not got too many things that distract you or too many things that trigger thoughts, but a very clean and neutral environment. Because in that space, the past isn't triggered in your head. You know, I remember going to someone's house, this was in Greece, and they'd spent a lot of time traveling the world. There was not an inch of space available on the wall. There was so much kind of memorabilia all over the walls, you know, a plate from Africa, a wooden structure from here, this from there. And they'd be sitting in the middle of all this and they would just be playing with memories. And then they asked me the question, how can I be peaceful? I said, well, I'd start by just taking all of this stuff down. It's great you've had that experience. It's great you've been there. That memory is actually recorded in you. You don't need it as a visual stimulus all the time. If you want peace inside, you have to start clearing the clutter around you first. And start sorting out things in your life. Touch whatever is in your life and ask yourself, is this something I need or is it something I want? And when we actually bring our lives practically down to a level of simplicity of what we need, you'll actually find that we need very little. We want a lot, but we need very little. And so, you know, clearing the clutter in our lives, simplifying our lives, so important, so that suddenly the pressure is off our mind. We just think about it at a practical level. You go into a shopping mall and suddenly there's sale signs everywhere. And you start to see things and you start to get convinced, well, maybe I need that thing just because it's on sale. Well, guess what? You don't need that thing because you would, even if you bought it for a good price and you brought it home, because you don't need it, it'll sit there in your closet for days, weeks, months, collecting dust. And that's an energy that bears down on your mind because you spent money in that direction that was not necessary. So what it does is it actually erodes. It takes up your mental space and it actually erodes something very deep inside. And so, can I live with what I need? That's the motto of becoming simple. And so I find if we start to build our lives based on these three things, then we can create an environment that allows the soul and the energy of the soul and the purity inside the soul to flourish very, very powerfully. So I want to stop there now because I'm aware that time is moving on. And it's just been lovely to be with you
Sister
in
Gopi,
this early morning hours.
Sister Gopi, you're amazing. You're just so amazing. And, you know, silence of the mind, it's like you don't even feel like talking while you were meditating. You know, when you did this meditation commentary, you just didn't feel like talking. I mean, felt a very powerful energy, and the vibrations, of course, being in Mount Abu, you know,
Yes.
was a lot. I'm really, really, really honored. I'm so grateful. 4:30 in the morning for you. That's just amazing. No words to say beyond words. Not even thank you is enough. But I'm so humbled for you to even wake up at this time and give us all your blessings, your drishti. It's just so important for us right now. And being the 1st of April, you know, budding new thoughts, new words, new thinking, new actions, new deeds, new beginnings, and newness in our life. It's so important.
Yes.
And I'm glad you were here on the 1st of April. India. And all of you from New York. We have people from Japan, from Canada, from all
Wonderful.
over. You know,
Wonderful.
international out here from Jakarta. So really, Sister Gopi, thank you. And if there's anyone, we still have like 10 minutes, if it's okay, Sister Gopi.
Yes, sure.
Would like to
Any
ask
questions, comments? Yes.
I don't know how many times I can catch you back in New York. I might as well ask questions. If anyone has to ask questions, please ask her.
So many, many years ago, almost 10, I was actually fortunate enough to visit Mount Abu. And I had gone with my mom and I took my son and my cousin, my aunt. I'm telling you, I probably visited God knows how many places, but till date, it is one of the the best time, the 10 days that we were there. Lovely. And even my son, who's now 20, at that time he was 10, even now he says, I will go back there. So it is just beautiful there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It is very special.
Om
And
Shanti.
so through this virtual portal, you're receiving the holiness and the specialness of the vibrations of this time.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Isn't it so powerful, guys? It's like, I mean, I can feel the vibrations right here. I mean, you know, I don't know if anybody feels like this, but I am definitely feeling it. So grateful, really grateful.
Yes.
Sister Gopi, I have one question about being rigid and fearful in spirituality. I've been a Brahmin. I mean, I've been in the BK family for almost 21 years now, right? And I find it kind of difficult to understand how souls can be very fearful and rigid in practicing spirituality. And I don't know how to relate with this, with certain, you know, spiritual souls. I find it very difficult to communicate with souls. So could you please help me with this? I can't communicate much with souls who I find very rigid and fearful in practicing spirituality.
You know, I watched Daddy at very close quarters, Daddy Janki. And one of the things I saw, because she would often, you know, she was somebody that had an unlimited vision, an unlimited heart, an unlimited presence. And then you had souls coming in front of her with limited visions and hearts and often very inappropriate expressions. And I'll tell you a story. I remember she was meeting somebody who had a very fixed idea that he wanted to develop a retreat center for brothers. He wanted to build one, actually. And it was a time in this period where it wasn't necessary because it was extra cost. It was going to be trying to find hands to run a retreat place, all of that. And he'd already spoken to Sister Jayanti about it and taken 45 minutes, and Jayanti Ben couldn't give him a response, so she put him to Daddy. And I was translating for Daddy. And so he started talking, and when he started talking, he was quite presumptuous and quite arrogant. So he was, well, this is what I want. I want this from you. I want that from you. I expect you to be at the opening. This is what my vision is. And I remember as I was translating for Daddy, I just had this one little thought thinking, gosh, this is a lot of demands, you know? And in between, somebody, I think Sister Jayanti had come in to tell Daddy, well, you know, this is the summary of what he told me. And Daddy then just went very quiet, and Daddy said, can't you see what Daddy's doing? Because Daddy wasn't responding to him verbally, but she was deeply listening to him. And what started to happen, Daddy said at that moment, she says, don't say anything to me. Can't you see what I'm doing? I'm making the soul content. So Daddy started to pick up that beyond his demands and what his belief was and what he was being rigid about of what he wanted, there was a need of the soul. And she was sitting there fulfilling that back end need. So the amazing thing about being spiritual is that we have this ability to respond to souls beyond their limits. You don't have to engage with their limit. And it was quite amazing to be there, because he spoke for 20 minutes nonstop. And Daddy just went into a space of very deep peace. And she definitely invoked God in that moment. And as she went into that space, I could feel she was in her presence, in her vibe, in her drishti for that soul. She was just giving him peace and contentment. And that meant after 20 minutes of him speaking, he felt satisfied. He'd been heard. Somebody had listened. And second, when Daddy actually responded to him with her very clear ideas, he was able to accept them.
Wow.
So she responded back to say, Daddy's heard your thoughts. They carry a very good bhavna, a very good feeling and intention. And Daddy's recommendation is that instead of focusing on a retreat center, you focus on building retreats, but change locations. Go from country to country, but focus on a retreat program so that you don't get stuck with the logistics of a household and the money it takes to open a retreat center and the number of people you need, but you focus on the actual quality of the knowledge you want to share and the retreat process, and you can take that anywhere you want in the world. He was so happy. He was so happy. And I had a very deep realization in that moment that in our lives, we all get stuck somewhere in our thoughts and ideas because we think we're right or we think we know something, right? That's the basis of being toppled. If you take a position of any kind, you will get opposition. That's what it means to be rigid. If you take a position at any level, a thought level, a physical level, emotional level, you will get opposition because you're not meant to be. That's not your natural state. And so, when there is rigidity and you're faced with rigidity, that's the time to become soft and to support with a soft smile, to support with a soft vibration, to actually see beyond what that soul is holding on to and what that soul really needs, which might just be a little bit of love in that moment, might be a little bit of respect in that moment, might just be a bit of peace. That's all. Souls don't need a lot to feel content. So I feel that we don't need to fear anybody's limitations. Every soul has their own karmic journey and karmic story, and they're working through their own limitations, or they'll have to face their own limitations. But how can I be a support by remaining internally very soft and free inside, so that I don't hold any judgments of somebody because of what they're holding on to? Otherwise, I'm making the second mistake, right? They already are stuck in a place, and then I make a judgment about where they're stuck, and I'm not helping them be free. But if I just don't pay attention to that and look underneath and just support the unlimited nature of the soul through my drishti, through my words, through my being, then I can help something new to grow in the relationship.
Thank you so much, Sister Gopi. Thank you. Thank
Mm.
you. Thank you so much. Anyone else before we end with a closing and a beautiful, loving drishti before she leaves?
I think the explanation was so wonderfully given that it went very deep, and the understanding, and awareness increased multi-millionfold. The whole session was absolutely riveting. I loved every word of it, and I am so blessed and honored to have been in this meeting. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
I have one thought that I would like to share in gratitude, because I felt like this was so focused on a way of being and being rather than where you put your thoughts. And it gave me a way of seeing that I know, but it refreshed it and reintroduced it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's the difference between spiritual development and self-development.
Yes.
Self-development focuses on how many thoughts to have, what thoughts to have where, what you're still doing something. Whereas spiritual development is the deep unfolding of the inner being and the energy and the presence of the being. And the moment you connect with being, then that's the seed of creation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So before we wrap up? Anybody has any more questions? So from all of us, Sister Gopi, really, thank you so much, so much. It's really, I'm just so happy, and a big hug to you from New York, to you, from all of us. You have really tight.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much,
We,
Janika.
we love you. We love you. We love you. Learned so much today from you, Sister Gopi.
Yes.
Before we part, I'd like to receive for all of us just a few seconds of your beloved loving drishti from Mount Abu.
Yes. Yes.
Come get
Sister, I have my treatment starting on Monday. I'm diagnosed with autoimmune. I'm seeking your blessings. Please bless me for the same.
Absolutely. When you remember who you are as a soul, the body is a costume. So whatever's happening is happening to the body. It's not happening to the soul. And the companion of the soul is God. And so if you spend a few moments before you go into surgery, remembering God, that ocean of love, that ocean of peace, then the surgery will happen on the body, but the soul will be healed at the same time.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So let's have a few moments. And let's step away again behind this mask. And be aware of ourselves inside. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Om Shanti, Sister Gopi. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you,
Thank you, Janika.
thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
to
you
El.
all.
Shanti.
Om
We
Shanti.
are back on schedule next week with 6 o'clock with Brother Charlie from Australia. So we look forward to having you all. Thank you, everyone. I love you all. Thank you so much. May God bless you. Happy Thursday. Varsha, I wish you all the best. Victory is all yours. God is with you. He's always with you.
Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Everything will be fine. Thank you,
Thank
everyone. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Yes, sister.
Om
Thank
Shanti.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Love
Om
you
Shanti.
all.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti. Bye-bye.